Hello. I wanted to go live again real quick, like I promised. I'm going to show you some Golden Age books and some prints that were done for a hardback book that were put in like a portfolio style book in the 1970s of Golden Age covers, which was, your only resource. This is a partial photo cover, the natives and the jungle and everything down here. Well, no, it's not a partial, it's fully, it's just composited together with Tarzan over this scene. But that is a 52 pagers, Edgar Rice Burroughs classic Tarzan character. Of course, this is one of the many actors that played him that wasn't Johnny Weissmuller, as we all know. He's probably the most famous because he was an Olympic swimmer. That's the only Tarzan I've got in this one. If you like Tarzan, let me know. There's some westerns in here, little known westerns. Here's a Western Life Romances, 52 big pages again, a lover's magazine. So it's kind of romance Western. And it gives in very small detail there. Whip is the guy. He's got his whip there. Uh, and in this slide, I can't quite make out who the woman is. I'm sorry about that. This gal is mine. So this was a combination of the romance comic that Jack Kirby and Joe Simon came up with, but put kind of in a Roy Rogers, Dale Evans. So this would appeal to romance people that like romance comics, Western life romances, 10 Center, Golden Age. There, look at those boots and everything in detail, how they were. But he's got his whip there and his pistol pulled out and a silver like horse here. Silver, of course, was uh, Lone Ranger's horse. 10-cent December issue. Sorry, I don't have dates on some of these. Here's another great. This was from America's Best comics. It's Gunsmoke blazes the Apache Trail. Every minute was charged with anger when the sheriff announces this man belongs to Texas. Also, the tallest spar, and he's looks like he's maybe cleaning his gun, but some guy in a sombrero is got his pistol pulled out, and he's outside the sheriff's office because you can see the sheriff's sign here just right behind Pat, but you see the bad guy coming up, and it looks like he's maybe cleaning his Winchester there. I don't know. Got a cantina over there. I mean, just look at the color, the brown fading into orange, sort of yellow ochre behind him. Great colors, great detail on the shirt. And this would have been from a smaller publisher, American's Best. So that's kind of rare book to get in any kind of shape. Here's another Western. A little bit of paper stuck on there, or maybe lost from mice chew. That does happen. It does have some spine row, and it does have a little migration of rust on it. But this is December, January 1949. And it's Western Fighters, True Stories Where the Gun Was Law. Give this something there, a 52-page magazine. They like the 52 pagers, all for a dime. Has a little spine row. There's some problems with it up there in the corner, but I mean, overall, you get the gist of what the book is, and just a cool Western where he's just about ready to die and get ambushed from behind as he waves bye to the other party. He says, "Good night, Tex. I'll leave you alone with the herd. Keep a sharp eye. I'll be okay. Don't worry about a thing. Sure you will. Got a mask on. Zoo Live, Zo Live did the artwork to that. Not familiar with that. Of course, a lot of people use pseudonyms for their names back then. Here's one, Zane Gray's. This is a Dale 10 center, and it's in pretty rough shape, but nice painted cover nonetheless. Zane Gray's King of the Royal Mounted. Of course, the Royal Mounted Police has been in Canada. Got people firing from a mountainous ledge, and he's hanging off a ledge for dear life and got a branch in his hand. And they're in the distance down below him. And you know he's being fired at because you can see the little puff of smoke there. Unless that's just something wrong with the cover, it looks like they're firing at him, and just the sense of distance with the little characters and the crevasse, and just how far down that's supposed to be, distance wise. And what's pretty neat is they're like his pistol is on a rope. They would have a metal loop on the handle there, and they would always have it attached to them. And you see the cord there on the bottom of the pistol, and it's wrapped around almost like a noose around his neck there. But they always had the pistol attached to them in some way, not loose like in the westerns. We're in the West. Here's another one. This is an atlas, so this would have been pre-Marvel. Wild Western, number 39. And this is sort of an early Marvel comic book. It's got Ringo Kid, Kid Coat, Apache Kid. They had all those characters, and they had them when they were Atlas. Up here it has Kid Coat up in the logo there, that circle, that's Kid Coat. And then in the middle panel there's Kid Coat and Ringo Kid, the Apache Kid there, all together. Down here it says on sale monthly. They wanted to let you know it was a monthly. Kid Coat Outlaw featured in Wild Western, so he was the main draw on this. And how do I know? There, and it says so. But yeah, just a great multi-paneled. Sorry, these aren't in just tight bags. You can see the glare, the wrinkling of the bag. But I think if I tilt it and whatnot, you can see what's going on. Pretty nice, the red caption with the white lettering, but with the black shadow giving it depth. Really shows it off. Really, and grabs your attention on the stands, and that's what you want to do. Now you've heard of this guy here, the Lone Ranger. Now this is a Silver Age 12 center, and this would be the only Silver Age 12 center I feature on this. But just like for reference, and great painted cover. This is a gold key Silver Age Lone Ranger. He's galloping. You can just see the dirt being dusted up, and look at the painter. These painted covers were great in the golden and the silver age. But the Lone Ranger was related. He was the ancestor to a superhero, the Green Hornet, and that was prevalent up till the 1940s. And in more recent years, they've been making that connection again. It seemed like in the war years, for some reason, they kind of did away with that storyline and went a different way with Green Hornet. But uh, Lone Ranger in the novels and the pulps and things was related to the Lone Ranger. Well, now we have Lone Rider from Farrell publication featuring Gold Arrow, and they had that little heads up there. I like the horse down here has a lightning streak going down. Uh, Not a very realistic, spot that would have been on the horse, but on him, he's got a lightning. That his horse that he rides, but there's a stampede, and he's having to get on, let the horse go and run, and him get up a tree so he doesn't get trampled to death. But you saw the Ranger, and most people know that iconic theme song of the Lone Ranger, and No, the Lone Ranger that wore the white hat, and Clayton Moore that played him for many, many years in black and white and color, and had the black um, eye mask on, and then with his sidekick Tonto. Um, but here it is with Golden Arrow up there in the top, and he's got his name there. But there's one of two or three Lone Riders I have, and one of the better condition ones for sure. It's in pretty nice shape to be as old as it is. We're talking sort of mid early 1950s on this, and that was a Farrell publication. And some of these smaller publications just didn't get their books out and things like that uh, as prevalently. Some more Golden Age goodness, Corporal Rusty Dugan. And I like the scalloped little, how they did the framed in the cover. It's a non glossy cover, so it's like a newsprint cover. Sadly, this corner here's missing a little bit, but it doesn't invade the artwork. There's some chipping and stuff that just barely comes over in that one spot into the panel, but it almost looks like a stamp, a giant stamp. I have it in a Mylar, so, but it's Whole Yoke Publishing, 1944. Have you heard of Corporal Rusty Dugan? This is number two. Uh, Corporal Rusty Dugan Comics and 10 cents. I just like the placement of the 10 cents in there and the action and just how they framed it in to make it look like a stamp from 1944. This would have been on stands, maybe. Maybe. It's non-glossy cover from one of the smaller publishers. It's pretty neat, huh? I think it's pretty neat. There we go. We get that glare off of there, and you can see the action. The people. He almost looks like a Johnny Quest character. Getting getting swung into by Corporal Rusty Dugan. Don't mess with him. All right, got another comic here for you, Golden Age goodness. This one's pretty cool because it has Abraham Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, and George Washington on there under the education side. This was a variety comics, the Spice of Comics, number two. Each issue contained a variety of new and original features. And you had education. You had a superhero in the middle here. I forget, M. Stein did the cover artwork to this. You had a superhero. I forget the character's name. I think I've got it written on the back here. Yes, Captain Valiant. This is the second appearance of Captain Valiant. This is Volume One, Number Two. Marv Stein cover. What I say? Yeah, M. Stein. He just abbreviated there. Not much room to write on, but some covers didn't have a name on. So Marv Stein cover, second Captain Valiant cover. So it's his second appearance and his second cover. 1944 from Croydon, Croydon Publications. And you have education, jungle adventure, action, mystery, and humor all in one book. So it's an anthology type thing, but educational again, kind of an oversized. But look at the color pop on that, and you got the presidents up there. It was just a very unique. I don't even know that I recognize that as a superhero in the middle, but just the wonderful logo, like Variety magazine or something written up there, just high style, and then the banner and says the Spice of Comics, and just had these different genres in each panel. Um, and the other, like number one was like this too. Uh, you know, this Captain Valiant was on the cover of that too, and I hope to get a number one. Um, don't have the price on this one, but nice. I hope I showed that off well enough. Well, you know Captain Marvel, and I've showed a Captain Marvel with holding, or not holding, but right there by one of the war stamps that they wanted you to buy in the 1940 war effort. Here's a one that you maybe not have seen, and actually, it's a picture puzzle book. One against Captain Marvel picture puzzle, complete with large puzzle guide for you to color. It's fun to put together. Only 10 cents, and this was produced by Reed and Associates Incorporated, Chicago. Of course, Fawcett Publications Incorporated, and has a wonderful bug there, ant. But yeah, this is a picture puzzle type thing with Captain Marvel, Shazam on the cover. Big, only 10 cents, folks. Buy this and buy it and put it all together. And, and I think this is complete. May not be in that, kind of little rough shape, but just that these things exist at all is amazing to me. Um, Sensational, terrific, flying Captain America. No cutting, no pasting, easy to assemble. He really flies for 10 cents. Of course, Fawcett again. So there's a book, that Captain Marvel, that you might not have seen in there. Wonderful. Wonderful. That almost looks like a movie poster or something that, it really breaks it because it's, different because it's horizontal, that big 10 cents there. You got to love it. And another Captain Marvel that you may not have ever seen, which is sort of the side character to Captain Marvel. And I'm sorry, in this bag that it is in, it does have 10 cent written on it, but that's on the bag, not on the book. So I'm sorry that kind of interrupts. But this is tip toy number 3. Hoppy and Minnie in Musical Evening. And it looks like they even stamped on there Tip Toppy. Miracle Toy of Today, Movement, Action, Life. At the end of one of those perfect days when Millie sweetly sings while Hoppy softly plays, even Marvel Bunny's picture gets into the thing. So will you, as back and forth they swing. So you have the Marvel Bunny, again, a Reed and Associates out of Chicago with Fawcett, no cutting, no pasting, 10 cents. And so you see the Shazam Bunny there in the picture, the about the iconic red and yellow costume with white cape with yellow trim. But yeah, this thing would move, the way they did it. I don't know. One, open it up, put it together, and you see what it does. I don't really want to do that with mine. So now we get to the 70s prints that were um, done of Golden Age covers and came in a book. And I bought these prints. Probably bought every one of them. I love this. Just showing you pictures. Now these are just prints from the 70s, but of Golden Age books. And again, here we got the big red cheese as Shazam, as we knew him for many, many years, Captain Marvel. And then we've got Bullet Man and Spy Smasher and others here. It's Fawcett publication, 100 pages big. We got, Minuteman and Mr. Scarlet as well. And Mr. Scarlet also had a sidekick, but this was unusual. 100 pager, 15 cents. So and I can tell by looking at this print that it was a cardboard cover. Because of the breakage in color, and just I just believe this is probably one of those that had a cardboard cover stock, be a little bit thicker. I've already shown a World's Finest number 6 that has a cardboard cover on it. Sadly, mine's detached, but other than that, it looks stellar, and it's quite a valuable book. America's Greatest Comics in a big 15 center. I wonder how many dug in their pennies and sewed, bottles and things to collect that 10 cents to buy this 100 pages with Bullet Man and Minute Man and Captain Scarlet and Spy Smasher. And you got to realize that Spy Smasher, I don't know why Bullet Man never made it, but or some of these others, but the Big Red Cheese, actually, that's one of the better serials that was done. Serials were busted into chapters, usually 12 chapters. And I know some of you know that, but that was one of the better serial movies that you would come back on Saturday mornings and see again and again and again. And this guy on the end here, Spy Smasher, he was also fighting the Nazis and stuff in his own serials. And I love that little red, white, and blue shield there on there uh, that they've got in there that says "Be an American" and has a little red, white, and shield there. But yeah, just charging forward to fight evil. And this other one's quite stark looking. And I actually had some boy comics, and I first bought some in 1985. They were like $5 a piece. I couldn't believe that I could get some, published by Lee Gleason Publishers from a great Charles Barrow, who was a artist and inker and everything. Um, Created so many good characters. This is a has sort of a chain made out of swastikas, and it's Iron Jaw, and he had a little monkey. The boy did the boy hero. He looks like he's a boy in a red suit with gym shorts over it. Iron Jaw. He's fighting Iron Jaw. That was and it's a Charles Barrow cover, the best crime buster story of them all. He had a little monkey with a little hat and little uniform on. He's kind of pulling Iron Jaw's hair there, crew cut hair. Iron Jaw returns. A reptile will not die for a long time, even if cut into many pieces. So it is with the most deadly villain time. And of course, Nazism was literally engulfing and wanting to encircle the earth. And this is symbolic of having a swastika chain, and then also the shadow off some of those swastikas reflect on the earth. And he's swinging an axe at him. He's well, not at him, breaking the uh, swastika chain with the axe as he tries to tighten the grip on the world. And that's number 10. And it was a 10-cent Golden Age book. Here's Zip Comics with Steel Sterling, Man of Steel. 64 pages of exciting pictures. And I just like that he's really gotten off and that it's still able to function. A train's going away in the distance. And this is another Charles Barrow cover and that did the last one on the boy comics, and he's shooting down enemy planes, and just a wonderful cover. Zip Comics, nice musculature, Charles Barrow is pretty good. Just look at that Zip Comics, that logo, that banner that you would see a lot later in DC Comics would have, in the early 70s like that, have the banner. This is my number 4. This is issue number 4 of Zip Comics. Wouldn't it be wonderful to have that original comic in 9.0 even? Very few would exist, but because some of these are from, earlier time in Golden Age comics. Um, some of them are, obscure. They were recycled for the war effort. They were destroyed for different reasons over time. Uh, I believe this is the Everett cover here. This is Gun Blazing. The Green Mask leaps across the court. 64 64 pages, thrills, fun, mystery in full color. The Blue Beetle. Of course, we know the Blue Beetle. This is Mystery Men Comics number 3. But besides the Green Mask, you have the Blue Beetle, Rex Dexter of Mars, and Lieutenant Drake, USN. There's a lot of military type heroes and stories and stuff. as our men were fighting over there. A lot of people had these things rolled up and put in their backpacks in World War II. Um, I think this one's a little bit earlier from, but very well could have died on the battlefield with one of these in their backpack if they had a backpack, because GIs bought these by the millions, and adults did, just like the pulps. They were cheap entertainment. This is an obscure early one depicted. This is Amazing Mystery Funnies, and this the only double feature magazine. Phantom of the Fair, Speed Centaur. This was Centaur Publishing, and Legiorex did the cover. I've always loved this cover because he's a fully masked hero, and just the train there going up in the air. I don't think I'd be hanging out the door like they are to see that hero jumping and saving that girl. Could he fly? I don't know. This is amazing uh, mystery funnies, and this is an early, maybe late, early 30s comic. I mean, late 30s comic before 40s it didn't even hit. But really like that. Here's National Comics. That was from Quality Comic Group, number 7. Uncle Sam really fighting underwater, apparently. You got bubbles coming up. Uncle Sam smashes the invading legions of a mad dictator. Also, a gripping adventure with Quicksilver, Merlin, Kid Patrol, and many others. I think this was a Bill Everett cover. And he certainly was prominent on these Golden Age. You got Nazis with breathers on, their helmets over there in the corner, and then you got him, the kid, probably from the Kid Patrol, set up a machine gun there, and of course, Uncle Sam taking a swap at one, and the derelict ship in the background. And look at that, red, white, and blue, true American, icon. It's got 15 cents in Canada or 10 cents there. And they put a little red, white, and blue shield around that behind it, behind the price. So that's very coveted comic. Wartime comic with a wartime thing. This was an obscurity, and I believe it was a one shot that was published. Green Giant Comics, all new features featuring Green Giants as again there. Building marquee. It also had Master Mystic, Mundu, Black Arrow, and Dr. Nerod. I'm not sure of the publisher on that. I should have looked some of these up for you, but he's a giant. A green giant. Ho, ho, ho. Green giant. No, not that Green Giant. This guy was before Green Giant. Who knows? Maybe they even took that from this. But I do believe it was a one shot. Look at that careening car up in the air, sort of almost the frame bending, to show the speed of it, almost like a horse that would be, and just the simplistic buildings behind him, and him being like a giant man of Marvel, leaping over with his full weight, I might add on. So that must be a pretty sturdy building to get the bad guys who's shooting at him and actually hit him in the chest. So and the arm and the knee. Ouch. But he doesn't look fazed by it. So apparently, but I just like this bucking car, this careening bucking car. There's no way a car would do that, folks. But it's really animated, you know. It serves its purpose. Very colorful. And at this time there was a lot of competition. A lot of competition after Superman opened the gates in Action Comics number 1. They came up with all kinds of characters, obscure characters that maybe only appeared once, twice, maybe 3 times, maybe more, but still didn't get a lot of exposure. And then that's not even talking about Master Mystic or Mundu or Black Arrow or Dr. Nerod, excuse me, the other features that would have been in this book. And I bet you they were probably only featured once. Can't tell you that for sure. This is a better known title, Jungle Comics, that had Kanga, Jungle Lord. Of course, you had Kazar as well. More people know Kazar than they do Kanga, but Kanga was popular in Jungle Comics. I've got a Jungle Comics. You can get Jungle Comics and covers in a book, and this covers in there, I'm sure. And it's in a thrilling new adventure, Prey of the Slaves, Terry Thunder, Captain of the Congo Lancers, White Hunters of the African Safari, Wombi, Jungle Boy. I've actually got some original Wombi pages in my safe, Golden Age artwork of Wombi Jungle Boy. You probably never heard of him. I hadn't before I seen that artwork, but he was featured in Jungle Comics, and that even may be Jungle Comic artwork from that. I don't know, but I know it's Wombi. Drums of the Leopard Men, Camilla, Queen of the Lost Empire, the White Panther, Simba, King of Beasts, and Taboo, Wizard of the Jungle. And here we have Kanga being fired upon by a Congo, a safari looking guy, and from behind, and he's swinging from a vine, very Tarzan like, um, or Kazar like, even with a very sharp knife. And this male lion is getting ready to pounce on this girl. And if that guy's back there shooting at that lion, trying to save his girl, then he's pointing it at Kanga. Maybe he doesn't like the competition and he wants to take out the competition. And if she gets mauled and dies, then that's okay. I love on some of these jungle comics, the banner here. You'll see, and I'll try and get this in here. Here's a deer over here, and there's a stalking lion over here with the 10-cent mark on it, January above him. But very realistically rendered, nicely detailed, regardless of what else was on the cover. And that he's swinging in and it's overlaid over that makes this just a very classic, effective cover. And you can see the detail, hopefully, in the see the deer on one side, that stalking line, and how they've rendered the jungle there, and just the unrealistic. Really, look at the red foliage. You ever see a red tree like that? A red big uh, big leaves like that, like elephant ears and red. And then there's one in between the girl and the lion that's purple. Wasn't and there's some green there, yeah, but not realistically really colored. But I really like that he, uh, you know, swinging in there, and that he's over the logo, and it just makes the whole thing even more effective. You know, great cover, great Golden Age cover. I'll check, look right here and see if we got any chatters. Okay, nobody new there. So, Silver Street Comics, Daredevil battles the Claw, #7, classic. I've got to mention, I can't show this classic Daredevil uh, where he's battling the Claw or Yellow Claw, or well, I guess he was just called the Claw. Marvel had the Yellow Claw, especially in the 50s. Daredevil had a boomerang, and he also had a spiked belt. So I don't know how you maneuver your hands around without scraping yourself every now and then on that, but he seemed to do it. Little known fact: the iconic, we all know the red and blue. If we've seen the costume of Daredevil, the original Daredevil, of course he's public domain. Anybody can use him. I suppose the Claw is as well. Um, I know Eric Larson has used him in some of his books in Savage Dragon and other publications. He really likes that character, but his first original appearance was in black with a black and white costume. His first, and then that quickly changed in the next issue and went to red and blue and the yellow for his belt, and then flesh toned hands apparently because this flesh toned hands up here. It looks like they might have got a little green just in indication on his uh, miscolored somewhat right there in his on his tights, I guess you could say, his underwear, his outside underwear. See that green? It helps delineate the leg away from the body and stuff. And he's fine. Is that is this Silver Streak Comics? This is Silver Streak Comics, so Silver Streak's probably in it, right? He's got his boomerang and then crawling over the logo. I should give you the claw. Monstrous, just outrageous looking. Kids would love this, frightened pedestrians down there, all in a circular thing. So it's going to keep your eye there, all surrounded by blood red. Um, just iconic stuff. And what I wanted to say was, he's throwing that, looks like a little boomerang at him there, but then look how big it is in his hand down there. Maybe it was flexible. Maybe in my comic, when he makes an appearance, it'll be adjustable there right in the middle. But all you people down under, like Hockey and Michael Bancroft and Rob, all you mates and bogans down there should love that because it's a boomerang and a boomerang bushman down there. You know what I'm saying. I got a Spidey theme going on. Why not to bring in the new year? That's with Doctor Strange and has that's second Spidey annual, and then a giveaway promo from detergent. I don't know if you had to mail in for it or if it came with the detergent. And then that's the Marvel Tales, I believe. And then first printings, second and third, other stuff. So little Spotty going on. So I don't see Spotty crawling back there, but he is. Here's comics, and this is Ray Boy cover. He did some of the greatest in Master Comics here. 10-cent Master Comics. Big. Captain Marvel Jr. fights for victory against Captain Nazi and the Blackout Terror. So, I mean, we know who the villain is, right? Before he no need to even put him on the cover. Just put Captain Marvel Jr. there. Captain Nazi, we know he's a bad guy, but this is V for victories. V for victory, way before the peace symbol of the 60s. They kind of co-opted that. This is the cover to Master Comics, number 27 by Ray Boy. He did several of these Master Comics, and he also did a short stint of the Green Llamas. I have a Green Llama. I'll show you, I believe, number 6. Great wartime cover in pretty nice shape. And I'll have to show that sometime. But here's the classic iconic, and look how big this 10-cent thing is. They wanted you to know that big V for victory. Simple but effective wartime. Some say wartime propaganda, but hey, man, we needed encouragement. We needed heroes, and at least we had them back then, right? Here's Victory Comics, the fighting forces of Uncle Sam in deadly combat, featuring the Conqueror, and I believe this is a Bill Everett cover, and 10 new smashing war action features, and this is number 1 of Victory Comics. That would have been a later issue, and there's the Conqueror there. He's interesting in white and red with a utility belt type thing. You got the Navy fighting the Nazis who have their gas mask on, explosions going on, paratroopers in the background, planes flying, just chaos. It's war and victory. Look how big it is. Victory Comics. We'll win this war. And we did. We defeated Nazism. Here's Hit Comics, and this is a Lou Fine cover. Lou Fine, for you that know, was a great, one of the greatest golden age and highly coveted sought after by collectors. Number 9, if you had one in this shape, it would be worth thousands for sure. From Quality Comics Group, 10 cents, of course. Excuse me, folks. Early in the morning. Here is 4:45 in the morning, 4:45 a.m. So if you'll allow me a little yawn there. Neon, the Unknown, and a super thriller. Also in this issue, Hercules, the Red Bee. I have another book that's got Red Bee in there, I think. Betty Dates, Dawn Glory, and many others. So, but just look at the detail and the figures, and there's I guess that's a rock back there, sort of cliff edge, but you have a destroyer in the background and looks like a Nazi, some pirate. The hero looks like Doll Man to me, except that he has, sort of a red cap on. Doll Man being another Golden Age hero that maybe even Everett worked on. You can see looks like a pirate, got a little red skull on the approaching ship that's going to ram them, I guess. But look at the fist fight there. Everything. Hit Comics, and he's certainly lives up to its name. He's hitting the bad guy, and this guy over here, unshaven, looks like a goon, um, with his pistol, ready to look at that hit. Pow, pow off the stands, and just how this gun divides and gives you a good plane for them to stand on there and fight on while the water's being churned up, the approaching ship, the destroyer in the background. Wonderful. All right, this is one of my favorites. Funny pages, 10 cents. The Arrow, Phantom Rider, and there's some cereal called the Arrow or something that was done in the late 30s. It's excellent. I highly recommend it. I'll have to look at that and do a stream on that, um, and some of the old serial DVDs I have, and inform some people about that. Maybe watch them and then be fresh in my mind. And it's interesting how they did the foliage here. It almost looks photo realistic. There's even a little head up there, little statuary on the side of the building above the window. But you had the Arrow, Phantom Rider, Mad Ming. Flash Gordon had Ming the Merciless, but in this book of funny pages, and my grandmother and others called them funny books, even though they may not have been humorous at all. Um, but this had Mad Ming long before he was an archer. The arrow here, of course, as it's described, all in red with a little orange on this anyway belt. Pardon me. And where he keeps his, you'll see it in here in a second. Keeps his arrows, and even the feathers on the arrows and the shafts are orange. Some of the coloring had to be, but it almost looks dabbed on in the trees. It's broken up. The owl, Dana Dean, maker of Indian Magic. He gets a whole rectangle there with that. It's such a long title. And Circus and Sue. But just a wonderful cover. I believe this is another Lou Fine cover. If I'm mistaken about that, I'm sorry. But man, if you ever see this cover, if you can, look at the blocks of color in there, the buildings and stuff, and then up there above that beautiful looking window, it's got a little from who wrote the Iliad, and look at the trees, the green almost looks daubed on there, a little difference in color. The yellow shines through. Look, he's on a purple base there. There's blue, there's red, there's yellow, there's white areas, everything. There's distance there. It's just wonderful classic. And it's just says funny pages. A serious matter where he's shooting an arrow at him, but funny pages. This was the title of it. And he's knocking the gun out of the bad guy's hand from that distance from with an arrow. Look at that. Just at a distance, that looks impressive. And love the bold logo. If I was a kid back then, I'd probably pick this up. It's wonderful. It's one of my favorites. This is the Mass Marvel Keen Detective number 20. This is a Frank Thomas cover. No, not the baseball player from the White Sox, but this was Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas did Golden Age covers. He was an artist. In this issue, Mass Marvel, Scarlett O'Leary, or Spark O'Leary, Dan Dennis, FBI, and that was other things. Amateur GI man, spy hunters. So we had spy hunters, GI men or GI man here. Amateur GI G man. Amateur. He's an amateur, so he might make mistakes. But a G man was an FBI agent. But above that you have Dan Dennis, FBI, and then you have amateur G-man, spy hunters. So you got spy hunter, you got superhero types, and you have FBI men and spy hunters. So I don't know. And the eye, which is depicted on the cover here, one of the most bizarre superhero type covers and characters here, like a flaming eye attacking these paratroopers that were, I don't know. One's got a pitchfork, one's got a Tommy gun, one's got a pistol, the one being shot with the ray from the eye. This was pre-Superman, I think. May not have been, but it was around in that time where, Deadly the Eye and Dan Denton. And just wonderful circular design there, a lot of yellow. Sort of complements the eye that's flaming, and don't grab a woman's hair like that. The eye gets you. The eye sees all. The eye knows. Yes. Yes, radio for the mind. Radio was described as theater for the mind, and it really was. Your imagination just could visualize these things in your own different way. Can you imagine 5 or 6 sitting around the radio, maybe with a fire, maybe after eating a good meal, and have a beverage or nothing, maybe eating popcorn, who knows, listening to Lone Ranger, or, you know, Spaceship X, or just any wild thing like that. It really was theater of mind, but just think about like 5 different individuals, a mom and dad. Of course, hear this and they're going to imagine it one way. The children are imagining it in their own life experience. So everybody had the similar images, but not the same, running around in their head as they listen to these words come out of the radio, these stories of Dick Tracy and other things. The Shadow, Lamont Cranston, only the Shadow knows. Action, adventure, mystery, Jumbo Comics. Jumbo Comics was another big one. I believe this is an Everett cover, early one, October, November, number 10. Stuart Taylor in Weird Stories of the Supernatural. This cover here has a sort of Buck Rogers, more of a Flash Gordon type feel, old serial feel. Classic cover that you may have seen with just the horrendous looking creatures, especially this horned dragon-like creature in the foreground. But just the Flash Gordon or Buck Rogers kind of transparent helmet on there with the little electro or little prongs on it. A new adventure. Also, Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. ZX5, Spies and Action, Spencer Steele, The Hawk, and many others. All complete, no serials, all complete stories. So you're not going to miss out. but who knows what they'll have in Jumbo Comics the next issue. This was 64 pages in full color, and this is the last one we had to look at, and then we'll call an end to the stream. But look at that, just wonderful. I could just go on about these things because that is artwork, folks, in like a cave-like setting. But again, just all yellow background. If you don't know design, I mean, sort of bluish for the receding color, purplish, purple really, receding at the entry of the cave. They're fighting like almost like a brontosaurus type or Loch Ness monster type, with a craning head with a long neck, and he's on red, not really brownish, but red earth there. Although the cave rock or whatever it is, the earth type thing here indicated by the little bit of inking that says, okay, this is an archway, probably of rock, is in yellow, even though the ground is red. So just eye-popping colors, and it's just the pink and magenta, and just look at that creature's face, the horns, pretty bizarre. But the Flash Gordon type character here with Flash Gordon type hair, and these wonderful trouser pants flared pants that they played polo in, or was popular in the 30s, that aviators wore, and people who rode in different. It was just the style back then. I love the flared pants. I have a character called the Silver Boa, and actually there was, and our character was inspired by the finding on an island of a silver boa constrictor, and they and forget the island's name, or you know, but it's too early in the morning. It's almost 5 here at 5 a.m. while I'm broadcasting this, but we've been going for about 52 minutes, so uh, I just appreciate everyone watching this, and I've promised new content every day, and I'm here to deliver. So I hope you enjoyed some Golden Age goodness in this one. Bye for now, and have a happy new year. Peace.